playoffs are here, everybody. Really excited to get going with today's video. In this one, we're going to be talking about the Montreal Alouettes at the Hamilton Tigercats in the East semifinal. In the next video that's going to be released in maybe just hours apart is going to be a preview between the Calgary Stampeders and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So stay tuned for that. I am going to be covering both games as well as all the rest of the games in the Grey Cup playoffs. So really excited to talk about this game. It's really toying with my mind who I'm going to pick. And by the way, I'm not actually going to be predicting who's going to win in this video because on Saturday I'm going to be releasing a full Grey Cup playoffs prediction video. So stay tuned for that. Going to be picking some award winners and whatnot. But with that said, let's get going with today's preview. We're going to be looking at a few different aspects just from a basic level and who I think is going to be key in deciding who wins this game and all of that. So we'll start with what you need to know going into this game. I just wanted to point this out in terms of the dates because if you're a new fan of the CFL, you might have realized there's not many regular season games that happened on Sunday this year. So I wanted to point out that this game is on Sunday. The playoff games in the CFL are always on Sunday afternoons. So it's Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time at Tim Hortons Field, where the Montreal Alouettes, who finished 7-7 on the season, battled the Hamilton Tigercats, who finished 8-6. They split the season series 1-1, with both games won by the away team. The Tigercats went 5-2 at home this season, with the one loss versus Montreal at home included in that. And then the Alouettes went 4-3 on the road this season, a slightly better road record than a home record this season for them. So really interesting drama right off the bat there because the Tigercats looking to avenge a really big blown lead in the fourth quarter in that loss to Montreal. And I forget what week it was, but a little bit ways back in the season. Going to be really interesting to see if the Alouettes can also get their first playoff win since 2014. That's a long time in the CFL with only 9 teams to not win a playoff game for that long. That is a big drought. The Alouettes really trying to get the monkey off their back this year. And then the Tigercats, they're looking to keep their dreams of a home playoff Grey Cup alive. I mean, they really just got to win these next 2 games and they're there. So everything is still in front of this Tigercats team. Let's see if they can get it done. So now I want to dive into the team stats, and I just used the basic yardage statistics. I don't love using yards as a big measure of players because I think there's so much more to that, but just on a basic level so people can just get a gauge of the general performance of these teams this season. So in terms of total offense, the Alouettes have the edge there. They actually finished first in the entire CFL this year, led by a really strong running game. Their pass offense was pretty good as well. They had some good explosive plays down the field. I bet they're, in terms of their average depth of completion, is pretty high this season. And for the Tigercats, they're 6th in the CFL in total offense, just really mirrored in mediocrity throughout a lot of this season. Just a lot of drives that they moved the ball, but they just couldn't finish when they got in the red zone. So that's been a theme all year with them. But I think that a pretty balanced offense this year compared to 2019, where they were a very pass-heavy and very successful pass-heavy offense. So I was actually surprised to see them ranked 4th in the league per game in terms of rushing yards. In terms of total defense, we got 2 of the top 3 teams in the league, at least in terms of yardage here. I mean, I don't like using the yards too much, but just decided to do that because these were the easiest statistics to gather. The Alouettes really overperforming this year on defense, in my opinion. I mean, I really thought this was one of the worst defenses in the league coming into the season on paper, but it's clear that those upgrades that they made in the offseason to the defensive line made a huge difference in this team's performance this year, and it's been really impressive to see them turn it around. Better parts in this secondary as influenced by this really good pass defense. Honestly, only Winnipeg, who was historically great, had a better pass defense this year in the league. And then in terms of Hamilton, their strength is defending the run. And this is a really interesting matchup, as you'll see on screen here, that really sticks out to me is that it's the first ranked rushing offense led by William Stanback, who I think is the best running back in the CFL today, versus this number 1 ranked Tigercats rush defense. And in the 2 games that they played against each other this season, the Tigercats actually kind of held Stanback largely in check throughout those 2 games. So going to be really interesting to see what happens in round 3 between that matchup and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in this video. But that's just the basic team stats. Now let's take a look at the quarterback comparison. Jeremiah Masoli versus Trevor Harris for Montreal. And it's going to be really interesting to see who really shows up this week, because these are two of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the league. I would gather these are probably the two most inconsistent quarterbacks in the league in terms of the variance between their low levels performance and their high level performances. They're certainly both capable of some great games at the CFL level. We've seen them, and that's why they're still in the league this many years into their career. But they're also capable of blowing you the game. And I find the accuracy sometimes is a little hit or miss with Masoli. I think that's his real problem. You saw that against the Argos. Whereas Trevor Harris, I think a lot of it has to do with his lack of mobility, but also his just like lack of killer instinct in the red zone. I think that's a big factor when considering how poorly historically in his career he has done in the red zone, dating back to his time with Ottawa and of course with Edmonton. But he's actually looked really good in the limited sample size we've seen since he's taken over this Alouettes offense. So I'm really curious to see how he performs in this playoff game. As a Hamilton fan, I'm kind of worried that, you know, with those big play wide receivers and Hamilton not having played Trevor Harris yet this season, he's one of those quarterbacks in the league that they haven't played this season. Fascinating to see how he performs in this game. But you look at the quarterback rating, super identical. A lot of these stats are actually very close. But with that said, let's get into the keys to the game. In my opinion, these are the three main storylines, matchups within this game that I think people should pay attention to when it comes to determining who is going to win. The first is the aforementioned matchup between William Stanback and this Tigercats rush defense. I think it's just really crucial that Hamilton finds a way to keep them bottled up throughout this game and forcing Trevor Harris to make throws down the field and maybe cause him to make a few bad decisions in this game like they did back in the 2019 East Final when he was playing with Edmonton. So really interesting to see who comes out on top. I really think it's super crucial to this game. Montreal's basically the team just revolves around William Stanback's ability to be dominant rushing the ball. I don't think this offensive line is that like amazing or anything like that. I think it's just William Stanback is just a freak athlete that gets a lot of yards after contact, and the Tigercats really gonna rush the ball to find a way to shut him down in this game. And then you look at the receivers this year for the Alouettes, Eugene Lewis and Jake Weineke. They've really been the best receiving duo in the CFL this season. You see just the ability to attack defenses down the field, and that's really the thing with both of these guys. They've actually added a lot more elements to their game this year. I think Eugene Lewis was mostly a deep ball guy early on in the 2019 season, but he's really added a lot of elements to his game, and then he's really even improved on his ability to get open deep down the field. And Weineke's just really broken into a star this year. Both these guys are absolute studs, and the Tigercats secondary is actually full of great players as well. So I think when you look at Cariel Brooks in the season he's had at halfback, I mean, Jamal Roll at corner, just really great season. Tunde Adeleke at safety, really talented defensive backs in the fold for Hamilton. But can they keep this offense down? And it's a really explosive offense deep down the field. I'm really interested to see how many big plays the Alouettes create in this game, and I think it's going to be really crucial to them finding a way to win. And then the Tigercats offensive tackles versus the Montreal pass rush rotation. I think Montreal's been really creative this season in terms of how deep this pass rush rotation is. You consider a guy like David Menard, who has started one game on the season, yet won the team's most outstanding defensive player award. And it's really remarkable how much production they've got out of this healthy rotation that they've used on their defensive line this year. The Tigercats at offensive tackle, meanwhile, have been, I mean, they look a lot better than they did at the beginning of the season where they were just complete turnstiles. But I really think that the Tigercats really need to make sure that they really seal the bookends in this game. And I think the interior of the Tigercats offensive line is still pretty good, but I think Chris Van Zyl really got to play at that most outstanding offensive lineman award level to make sure that Masoli gets the pass protection he needs to be successful in this game. So obviously there's other matchups within this game that are going to be really crucial to deciding the winner in this one, but these are just 3 I wanted to highlight. And then finally we look at X Factors, and I think these are just 2 players I really wanted to mention because I think they're just really crucial to their team's success right now. And I think when you look at Patrick Levels, it really speaks for himself this week with calling for a guaranteed victory over the Tigercats, and basically calling Jeremiah Mazzoli and Brandon Banks out with the media. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he backs that up on the field. He's an outstanding defensive back, linebacker hybrid, that strong side linebacker kind of player. But traditionally, these kind of guarantees kind of backfire a lot on guys. So we'll have to see if Levels comes up with a big splash play in this game, like a sack or interception. Just keep an eye on him. And then wide receiver Steven Dunbar for the Tigercats really has become this team's most consistent receiver over the last few weeks here. And Jeremiah Mazzoli just looking in his direction a lot more often. Big perimeter receiver. I think he could be really crucial to winning this game against a pretty physical defensive back room for the Alouettes. So I'm really interested to see how these 2 players really affect this game, and I just really want to mention them. So who do you have in the East semifinal, Hamilton or Montreal? Let me know in the comment section. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to be doing a separate Grey Cup predictions video. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.